from the Don and Lorena Meyer studio at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln College of Journalism and Mass Communications, this is Nebraska Nightly.
Good afternoon and welcome to Nebraska Nightly. I'm Evan Donlinger.
And I'm Dawson Iasillo. The past few days have brought destructive storms to parts of Nebraska, including tornadoes in the Sandhills and high winds near the Missouri border.
Although the severe weather has mostly missed the capital city, it's also good to be prepared for severe weather seasons in May, which is just a few days away. Nebraska Nightly's Mackenzie Noble joins us in studio with advice on how to prepare for destructive hail. Mackenzie?
Thank you, Evan. We are heading straight into storm season here, and hail is no stranger to Nebraska. Hailstorms can strike fast and leave behind thousands in damage. Tonight, hear from experts on why hail forms and how to protect your property.
They don't just appear out of nowhere. Their size and strength depend on powerful forces in the atmosphere, forces that meteorologists are constantly watching. And when conditions line up just right, those icy balls can reach the ground much larger than expected.
And we can also look for changes in the wind speed and direction with height in the atmosphere, because those are days that support rotating updrafts, which tend to be more favorable to keep hail kind of in that hail growth zone for longer so we can get larger hail.
When hailstones do reach the ground, one of the most common casualties is the car. In recent years, thinner sheet metal and higher auto repair demand have made hail damage even more noticeable and more expensive.
Many of the cars have such very thin sheet metal on them these days that we can do a lot of the repairs without requiring paint work. I know shops in Omaha are booked up for months, and we definitely are not. So.
As storm season continues, keeping an eye on the forecast and your vehicle could save you time, stress, and hundreds in repair costs.
Park your vehicle inside, if possible.
I will say car covers don't help much. They're just entirely too thin. They just don't really help at all.
Nebraska is actually one of the few states included in Hail Alley. The Great Plains experience a lot of those strong updrafts I mentioned because we get warm, moist air from the south and cold, dry air from the north. But how big can hail really get? Let's take a look at the size scale. We start small with a P. This is around 1/4 inch in diameter. Next, a quarter, about 1 inch wide. Now between these two sizes is what is most common in Nebraska. That's what you're usually going to be seeing when we're going to be expecting hail. Moving on to the golf ball. This is measuring at about 1.75 inches. This is where things really start to get destructive. Now you should take precaution when there's any size of hail in the forecast, but this size of hail can break windows, windshields, and shingles. Lastly, we have a grapefruit, nearly 4 inches across. Just a couple days ago in Arlington, Nebraska, the largest piece of hail reported was about this size. Now imagine this falling from the sky at over 100 miles per hour. It's not just impressive, it's very destructive. And as we head into storm season, stay weather aware, because in Nebraska, when hail hits, it can hit hard. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Taking a look at your weather forecast now.
Temperatures are rather mild at the moment with a high of 65 and a low of 47 degrees going into tonight. It's fair and not very humid following a very sticky day yesterday as storms popped up in southeastern Nebraska.
Looking at tonight's forecast, it will be calm with 3 to 7 mile per hour winds. It should be mostly clear with a 30% chance of showers between 3 and 4 a.m.
Looking at our forecast for the rest of the week, we should expect warmer highs sneaking into the 70s and maybe in a few 80s towards the start of the work week. It should be fairly dry, but we cannot rule out a stray thunderstorm. During the nights, the temperatures will dip into the low 40s and some 50s. Amidst the severe weather plaguing Nebraskans the past couple of weeks, good news is on the horizon for local forecasters. Nebraska Representative Mike Flood says 2 forecasters will be joining the staff at the National Weather Service in Valley, Nebraska. Even though their positions are temporary, with the extra staff, Flood says that the NWS can resume normal daily weather balloon output. This comes after staffing shortages forced the National Weather Service in Valley to cut back releasing just 1 weather balloon a day. Flood says as Nebraska enters storm season, it is as important time as ever to help forecasters get the weather right.
The third UNL International Student Visa is now restored after federal judges reversed the earlier decision by the Trump administration. Judges across the country also restored students' records to a federal database maintained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The university has not been given a reason why the students' visas were revoked or why the third visa was held up. It helps to prevent cavities and gum season, but caring for the health of your mouth is also important for your overall health.
In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on the impact bad oral health has on the entire body.
It allows you to eat and to speak, but your mouth needs care, and that starts with your teeth.
We always say only take care of the ones that you want to keep.
Periodontist Dr. Sasha Ross with Cleveland Clinic says oral disease may not cause any pain, so many times it's not treated until reaching a more serious stage. Some of the most common diseases and conditions that affect oral health are cavities, which is tooth decay, gum diseases, oral cancers, and tooth loss. It can also impact overall health.
There's many studies that link your oral health to conditions like cardiovascular disease, stroke, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, in women, preterm low birth weight babies.
In the U.S., 57% of children and youth aged 12 through 19 have had cavities in their permanent teeth. As for adults, 90% have had a cavity. Experts say the best way to prevent decay and protect the health of your mouth is by brushing teeth at least twice daily, flossing every day, limiting foods and drinks that are high in added sugar, and getting a checkup and professional cleaning at least yearly.
It's super important to find a dentist and a dental hygienist that you work well with, and to not be afraid to go in and take care of your mouth.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
To get mouths clean, Dr. Ross recommends using a mouthwash each day and investing in an electric toothbrush with a soft or extra soft toothbrush head and aiming it near your gum line, not just your teeth.
For those who have dental implants or dexterity issues, Dr. Ross says using a water flosser can also help. Coming up after the break.
A look back on Donald Trump's first 100 days in his second term.
Social media is a daily part of many college students' lives, something we've become used to, but it can also be overwhelming and draining. Studies show that taking regular breaks from social media reduces stress and improves mental health. Too much screen time has been proven to increase anxiety, while stepping away helps you reconnect with the world around you. Take a break. Protect your mental health.
Need for blood never stops. And at the Nebraska Community Blood Bank, your blood could help save lives. Right now, only 7% of the population donates blood. But imagine if there were more.
We're sitting at below a 7-day level of supply of all blood types across the board. So every blood type is important, and we need all donors of all types to come in and donate now.
At the Nebraska Community Blood Bank, they believe that all types make a strong blood supply.
Welcome back to Nebraska Nightly. Today marks the end of the first 100 days of President Donald Trump's second term. Starting with an eventful inauguration day, he's moved to a rapid pace to enact his agenda. From controversial cabinet picks to sweeping tariffs to firing tens of thousands of government workers in an effort to reform the federal government, Julia Benbrook details some of the most impactful moments of his first few months.
Just hours after President Donald Trump was sworn in,
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
He signed a flurry of executive orders. Some sought to undo portions of his predecessor's legacy, hitting on a wide range of issues like immigration and the economy. In these first few months, he's hosted close to a dozen foreign leaders, including Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. That visit, designed to discuss a possible end to the war with Russia, turned into an unprecedented back and forth.
You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right.
The new Department of Government Efficiency and tech billionaire Elon Musk are spearheading the administration's efforts to reform the federal government and, quote, get rid of waste.
Doge. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps.
Resulting in the firings of tens of thousands of federal workers across various departments and the decision to dismantle the Department of Education. As promised on the campaign trail, Trump took a hardline stance on immigration, launching a series of deportation flights to El Salvador that prompted legal battles. When it comes to trade, Trump remains adamant that his tariff policies will benefit Americans.
With today's action, we are finally going to be able to make America great again, greater than ever before.
But the back and forth on tariffs alone has caused confusion. Reporting at the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
With the constant changes tariffs are creating, consumer confidence is at a 5-year low. Karen Kaifa in Washington looks at where President Trump stands on his economic campaign promises.
The White House touting President Donald Trump's economic agenda on day 100 of his second term.
President Trump is delivering on his promises to lower costs for American families and businesses.
But research nonprofit The Conference Board's April reading of consumer confidence hit its lowest level in almost 5 years, with tariffs top of mind for consumers surveyed.
Basically, anyone who's making a big purchase, whether it's an air conditioner, a refrigerator, a washer, a dryer, is thinking much harder about tariffs than they wish they ever had to, and they're not quite sure what to do or when.
The White House touted progress in things like job creation and labor force participation for those without a high school diploma since Trump took office, and slowing inflation. But Cardiff Garcia, editorial director for the Economic Innovation Group, says those indicators can lag.
Things look fine, but it doesn't mean that things actually are fine. It just takes some time for actual things that happen in the real economy to translate into those economic indicators.
Justin Wolfers, professor of economics and public policy at the University of Michigan, says the tariff uncertainty for both businesses and consumers could slow spending and the U.S. economy.
Lots of families are sitting around the kitchen table right now worried about the prospect of a recession. If that's the case, now's the time to save for a rainy day. Maybe pull back on that big purchase you were going to make. If that happens, consumers pull back on spending, that could be the first step towards a recession.
A reading of first quarter U.S. economic growth set to release Wednesday morning could foreshadow challenges ahead. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Trump is facing the lowest approval rating of any president in the first 100 days in 80 years at 42%. More than 45% of Americans say they would give Trump an F rating.
Political scientists predict Trump's approval rating will continue to sink as his second term continues. To celebrate his first 100 days, Trump is headed to Michigan for his 100th day rally.
Up next on Nebraska Nightly.
A Nebraska softball player receives national recognition.
And we take a look at Lincoln's No Coast roller derby team.
Welcome back to Nebraska Nightly. I'm Bobby Hessling. Earlier today, the Big Ten Conference released the 2025-26 Big Ten men's basketball opponent schedule. Nebraska is coming off their college basketball crown title, even though they missed the Big Ten tournament this past season. Nebraska will play Illinois, Iowa, and Northwestern on the road at home, and then at home and on the road this season. They will play both of the LA schools on the road. They will host Wisconsin, Purdue, and Michigan State inside Pinnacle Bank Arena this winter. Nebraska men's tennis made the NCAA tournament for the third time in program history. The Huskers accomplished the most conference wins in a season, as well as 2 ranked upsets. They will face Baylor in the first round in Lubbock, Texas this weekend, with a date to be determined. Nebraska baseball takes on Kansas State for the third time this season, and the first time at home. Nebraska lost the first game 9-6 and the second game 12-8. Tucker Timmerman will make his second start of the season tonight. He started last week versus Kansas. In softball news, Jordy Ball received national recognition for her performance at Washington this weekend. She was named D1 Softball Player of the Week, Softball America Star of the Week, and NFCA Player of the Week. Nebraska is back in action this weekend against Maryland. This past weekend, Nebraska football wrapped up their spring season. New tight end Heinrich Harburg spoke about Dylan Ryla's growth this spring during the football festivities.
Obviously mature beyond his years last year. It's really tough to come in as a true freshman and lead a team. He's taken just so many leaps and bounds leading this team and doing it in a way that doesn't rub the wrong way.
Should be a fun one tonight for baseball. They need that win over Kansas State as well.
For sure. I'm hoping for some good weather for that as well.
Should be good after what happened last night.
Yeah, and also really excited about the football. Getting that look inside.
Yeah, absolutely. For them with football, after everything that happened in the spring, it was a weird spring game as well with all the festivities. Everyone was excited that Dylan was able to make the throw into the basketball hoop as well.
Football season's always the best.
It is.
Yeah. Thank you, Bobby. Inside the Lincoln Sports Foundation, the No Coast Roller Derby is rolling into their 20th season.
Nebraska Nightly Sophia Walsh introduces us to someone who found her soulmates.
The No Coast Roller Derby is celebrating 2 decades of empowering skaters of all ages, competing at regional and national levels. Practicing 3 times a week, the team is focused on building leadership and inclusivity through sports. One skater, Emma Gamble, is at the heart of the league. As a team captain for the traveling adult team and a dedicated coach for the youth skaters, for her, it's all about building a supportive community. She said that whoever you may be, you belong in the roller derby community. This emphasis on inclusion goes far beyond the derby.
So we really emphasize that all of our skaters have a role, and so even when you go outside of the derby community, if you're at work or if you're at a park or whatever, you have the role as one of our skaters to preach positivity and preach well-being, being a good Samaritan in the community.
Starting on the Derby's youth team in 2013, Gamble gained an unexpected love for the sport. Now, 22, she couldn't imagine her life without the Derby.
It has just been like the best thing in the world to have an environment to come to, and it's almost like my entire life. A lot of people say that if they know me outside of Derby, they're like, that's all you do, that's all I ever hear you talking about.
Whether it's through skating or coaching, Gamble hopes she is creating a space as welcoming for her teammates as the Derby has been for her too.
I really enjoy the community that I have here. I think a lot of these people as my family. I mean, I've known a lot of them for more than half of my life. I started when I was 10, and so that really pushed me to stay.
Sophia Walsh, Nebraska Nightly.
With 5 home games and 5 away games this season, No Coast Roller Derby is ready to roll.
Tickets and schedules are available online at nocoastrollerderby.com. Taking a look at the rest of your work week, it will be a very comfortable temperatures sitting near 70 degrees. There could be a slight chance of rain showers tomorrow and Thursday. During the nights, it will also be comfortable with temperatures near 50 degrees. A stray low 40s temp day could appear on Friday, so keep a light jacket handy. And thank you for turning into Nebraska Nightly.
Be sure to follow us on Nebraska Nightly at socials at Nebraska Nightly.
We are approaching the end of the semester, which means we only have 2 live shows remaining. Tune in to our update shows this week at 4:30 and for our final Friday newscast this spring.
Our last show this semester will be on Tuesday, 1 week from today at 4:30.
Have a great night.
Nebraska Nightly is a production of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln's College of Journalism and Mass Communications.